So recently I was reading a Social Security governor's report on when folks elect Social Security because I'm a financial advisor and sometimes we read boring things like that because we like to learn about it. Here's the thing. One, don't judge me. Two, I'm going to tell you what it said. It was a little bit surprising to me. Most folks take Social Security early. The single age at which people elect Social Security most often, 62. Not coincidentally, 62 is as early as you can get Social Security. What I want to do today is talk about why that is and things that you might want to look out for if you're thinking about taking Social Security at age 62. So we Americans are just a society of like, give it to me now. We want our instant gratification. I'm the same way. We've got streaming services. You can instantly download something. You can click a button and almost anything in the world can get to your front porch by tomorrow. So I understand it. And when I first read the report, my instant thought was, well, that's it. People take Social Security at 62 because it's instant gratification. The more I thought about it, that's not really fair. It's not instant gratification. You've been paying into the system for 30, 35, 40, 45 years. And you go, hey, it's retirement time. Now it's time to start to pull some of the money out that I've been paying in for all of these years. And I understand that, but there's a few things that you should consider before you do that. So first things first, from the 2023 Social Security Trustees Report, the average life expectancy for someone once they reach age 62, for a male is a little over 19 years. For a woman, it's a little over 22 years. And so if you've made it to 62, they're telling you you've got plus or minus 20 years left on average. That's the average life expectancy. Well, if you elect Social Security at age 62, you get the benefit sooner, but you get a much smaller benefit. And in the long run, you're going to end up pulling less money out of the Social Security system. So that tells us the first reason why not to take it at age 62. It's just math. If you take the check early, you get a lower check than if you wait to full retirement age or sometime after the age of 62 where you're going to get a larger check. We can map out when the break-even point's going to be, but here's the thing, it's sooner than 20 years or 22 years down the road, and that's the average life expectancy. If you end up living a longer life than that, it makes even more sense to wait to start the Social Security check. So I recently did the math on it. If somebody elected Social Security at age 62, in my example, they had a benefit of $1,439 that would start right then. If they waited till full retirement age, now this was for someone who was born in 1960, so full retirement age is when they're 67, they would receive $2,203 per month. So $1,439 starting at 62, or wait 5 years, but you get $2,200, a little bit more per month if you elected then. By the time you get to 67, had you taken it at 62, you've already pulled $86,000 out of the system. So you're ahead of the game in that regard. But remember, we're just going to look at average life expectancy. If you've got until age 81 to 84, depending on if you're male or female, the break-even point's going to come before then. The break-even point's going to happen around age 77. So at that point, once you hit age 77, you'd have been better off waiting to 67 and collecting that larger check. By the end of that average life expectancy, you would have drawn out $422,000 from the Social Security system, which is about $37,000 more than had you taken the Social Security check early. And again, that's just getting to average. If you live a longer life, that gap gets even larger. Now, the second reason why you might not want to take it at 62 is the earnings limit. If you take it before full retirement age, there's a limit on how much you can earn before they start to penalize your Social Security check. I've gone over this in some other videos, but in 2023, as I'm recording this one, the earnings limit $21,240, meaning if you're going to take Social Security early, but you still intend to work, they can really start to beat that Social Security check up. So if you were earning $40,000 a year, let's say, you're roughly $19,000 over the Social Security limit, over that $21,240, $19,000. For every two of those dollars you're over, they're going to take away one of the Social Security check dollars. You're going to lose out almost $10,000 from your Social Security check. In the example I gave, $1,439 per month. If you lost $10,000 of that over the course of the year, you're barely getting a Social Security check by the time it's said and done, and that's just a penalty. Now, that'll stop once you get to full retirement age, even if you elected early, but they're not going to give any of that money back. What they're trying to do is stop you from saying, let me go ahead and start to pull Social Security out of the system while I'm still working. I don't need this money. I'm just going to stuff it over here. They don't want people to do that, and so that's where the earnings limit comes in. Once you get to full retirement age, you can earn income. It might be taxable, but it's not going to be penalized. So that whole penalty thing goes away once you've reached full retirement age. So that's reason number 2. If you intend to still work and you're going to draw Social Security, be careful of how much income you're going to earn, because you got to be below that limit. Otherwise, they're going to start chewing up the Social Security check. The third thing you got to consider is your beneficiaries. If your Social Security check is going to be the one that lives on, if you're married and that's the larger of the 2 checks, if you lock in a lower benefit, it can have an impact on what they would receive if you pass away first. So the benefit to the surviving spouse is going to be lower than had you waited to at least full retirement age. Then you're getting a greater benefit that's going to pass on to the beneficiaries. So if that's your circumstance and you say, hey, I earned the higher amount, I paid more into the system, therefore I've got the higher Social Security check, that's another consideration as to why you might want to wait until some point past age 62 before you turn on the check. So I understand why most people would want to draw it at 62. They waited a long time. They've paid into the system. They want to start to draw money out. But you need to consider those 3 things that I just talked about before you do it. Otherwise, you might be digging yourself a little bit of a hole or harming the beneficiaries down the road. There's lots of information about Social Security out there to consider. I've got a Social Security playlist. I'll put a link to it. I think it goes to this corner. One of these days, I'm going to realize which corner it goes to, and I'm going to start pointing to the right one. I think it's up here. Either way, I'm going to put a link to it there. If you got other Social Security questions, go ahead and check it out. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel. Come on back. Watch some of our other stuff. Thanks very much. I will see you soon.